When it comes to the Harley-Davidson lineup, there are few motorcycles more iconic than the Fat Boy.
You know, for this one, I think we need to go a little further back.
It's July 1991. Everybody's getting real excited for the holiday weekend that's coming up, and even more so, people are looking forward to the year as a whole. We're going to be seeing things like Point Break, Hook, Silence of the Lambs, and the animated feature film Beauty and the Beast. But even more so, people are looking forward to July 3rd, where we're going to see the release of the second highest grossing movie of the year, T2 Judgment Day, which featured the 1991 release of the Harley-Davidson Fat Boy. With its amazing cast and strong use of practical effects, it isn't hard to see why T2 has stood the test of time. Now, the film is filled with a lot of amazing action sequences and some very professional stunts. And in particular, I'm going to be taking a look at the one that features the Fat Boy. Up to this point, motorcycle jump stunts are nothing new in Hollywood. What was making this one interesting was the weight of the bike. At almost 700 pounds and finding a way to drop it into a 40-foot ravine, Hollywood needed to exercise extreme safety. They pulled in the expertise of stuntman Peter Kent, who would go on to work with Arnold in many films even after and before this. To achieve the stunt, Hollywood fashioned 1-inch steel cable to 2 mounting points on the bike, both on the front and rear. Attached to that steel cable on the other end were 2 cranes, one at the front of the ravine and another at the back. At the bottom of the ravine was a Ford truck dually. That truck was attached with another steel cable, which then pulled the bike itself across the distance of 85 feet, which is roughly the size of about 2 school buses in length. So T2 actually had 2 Fat Boys on set. Both of them are now currently in a private ownership, but there is a scale replica available for viewership at the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee. Upon its introduction in 1990, the Fat Boy came out with the Evolution Evo 80 motor. It would actually become the replacement motor for the shovelhead that had been being used in years before. Now, while the Fat Boy is an easily recognizable and hardy classic American muscle cruiser, its most recognizable feature are the solid disc rims. As time continued on, the need for change and safety began to grow. And as a result, Harley started adding features like ABS, alarm systems, and even LED gauges and lighting features to their model bikes. So in 2005, Harley actually released an anniversary edition of their Fat Boy, which featured the Twin Cam 95 motor, gold-plated emblem on the fuel tank, specialty paint set, and some rims. Flash forward a few years later to 2010, and we actually see the release of the Fat Boy Low, which featured a lowered suspension for a lower seat height of 24 inches, which at that point was the lowest seat height on an American cruiser to date. With 6 films to date, the Terminator series has continued to give us characters both new and old, and in some way or another has involved Arnold, and most of them have always had some kind of motorcycle involved with them, including Honda, Ducati, Kawasaki, and even Indian. But with the release of Terminator Genesis and Dark Fate, the series did find its way back into the heart of Harley-Davidson. Most promotional material at the time usually featured an all-star cast on the poster itself, and usually a couple of action scenes somewhere on the bottom to showcase what you could expect from the movie. T2, however, took a very different approach, and only featured Arnold sitting atop the Fat Boy, dressed in all black with his signature weapon. Now, the bike itself is still a great American classic cruiser, and one that I particularly am happy to be able to take home.